everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today we are doing my February reading wrap-up. I have my reading journal here. I ended up printing out all of the book covers to put in my monthly wrap-up. I will take a quick glance. There it is. But I have them ordered by star rating. Let me know down in the comments if you prefer me going by star rating or if you want me to do by genre. I'm happy to do either way. I feel like star rating is a little bit easier, but I'm okay with either one. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to do the DNFs first that I did not finish and ended up quitting this past month in March or February. Ignore that. February. I did not put them in my journal, but I do know which ones I DNF'd. I actually probably should have brought up my paper because there's probably a couple more that I DNF'd that I don't have physically. But at least I have the physical ones, so we can talk about those. So I DNF'd Mag Cabot's The Princess Diaries. I think I got about 5 or so chapters in. And I tried this series years and years ago because I love the movies so much. And I forgot why I quit the series, and now I remember. It's not that clean, especially for even being like a YA book that was made quite a few years ago. There's a few innuendos and stuff in here, and I wasn't enjoying it. The writing wasn't that great, the writing style. So yeah, not continuing that series. And then I also DNF'd the 2 books that came out of my star jar this month. It's just easy. I love having the star jar because I get books off my shelves, and if I don't enjoy them, they can just leave the house and make room for books that I will enjoy. So I did also DNF Brightly Burning by Alexa Dawn and Finding Yvonne by Brandy Colbert. So both of these are YA contemporary / possibly romance, but coming to find out that I don't enjoy YA contemporary and romances. And we're leading into the other one that I DNF'd, which is I Love You So Mochi by Sarah Kuhn. Same reason, I just really don't like the writing styles of YA contemporaries and romance, and a lot of the times there's not stuff that I want to read. So okay, now I can get to the books I actually finished. Let me go ahead and get my notebook because some of these I don't have physical books for, so I'm glad I have them all down in here. So we're going to start with the 1 stars, and then we're going to end on a high note. So let me do the statistics first. I have 3 1 stars, 2 2 stars, 5 3 stars, 2 3.5 stars. I don't normally give half stars, but I like these books a little bit more than the other ones. Let's see. 5 4 stars and 3 5 stars. So most of my books ended up in the lower range of the spectrum, but it still turned out okay. I also read some comic books and graphic novels, but I don't count most of those. In my reading, I read Archie comic books just for fun. They count toward my Goodreads goal, but they don't count for my end of the month wrap up. So, but I read those for fun. Okay, I think I read, looks like 3 middle grade, quite a few Christian fiction that I got to, and a few YAs that I actually enjoyed a little bit. All right, so my first 1 star was Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. I'm trying to get more into classics this year, but this one I just didn't enjoy. I listened to it on audio because I do better with classics that way, but that one just wasn't for me. It's about this man who is a teacher, and there is like a kind of story tale going on about nighttime that the legend is a headless horseman who comes around. And so I like the aspect of it, and like I like the cartoon. I watched that one when I was little, Ichabod Crane. It was like Ichabod Crane and I forgot the frog's name, but it was like an old Disney cartoon that happened a while ago. But I just really wasn't a fan of the classic book. So that's okay. All right, the next 1 star that I read the first book in the Ali Finkel's Rules for Girls series, and the first book was called Moving Day by Meg Cabot. Finding out I just don't like Meg Cabot's writing. This was a middle grade book, and it was about a girl who, I guess she's in school, but her family wants to move just like a town over. And so she's going to start school in a different district, and just the characters were really unlikable. All of them were kind of not all of them were, but they just felt like brats, like a lot of the kids in the book were, and I did not enjoy it. There really wasn't a great moral to the story or anything, so I will not be continuing that series at all. Okay, and then the last 1 star, which I am sad to say, it was a graphic novel called Glass Town by, oh, and I can't read that cover. Oh wait, I have the physical book. I forgot. Was Glass Town by Isabel Greenberg, and this is a graphic novel about the Bronte sisters and kind of their magical land that they created growing up as they were children, and just this imaginary place. And I was recommended this by, I believe, Milena on her channel. She does a lot of classic books. I will link her channel down below as well. But she recommended this on her channel, and I thought I'd try it because it's a graphic novel, but unfortunately it wasn't for me. The art style really wasn't what I enjoy, and the story, I don't know, I just found it quite slow, and I don't know. I really don't know why I gave it 1 star. I know I didn't enjoy it, unfortunately, but I will try books by the Bronte sisters in the future, so I will definitely, hopefully, enjoy full-length novels by the Bronte sisters instead of just a kind of compilation of different ideas and stuff and creating this world. Okay, so that was my last 1 star. All right, on to 2 stars. So I have 2 of them. The first one was an arc from NetGalley, which I'm finally getting into reading a couple more of those to catch up. Okay, the first one was Amazona by Gonzalez. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'll put the cover here, but this is a graphic novel, and I gave it 2 stars for a few reasons. I did enjoy the actual storyline, and I felt it was really important because it's about South America. There we go. I couldn't think of it. South America, and how it was to be kind of a refugee and being just kind of kicked out of your village for companies to move in and take over. And so that part of the story I really did enjoy, and that's why I didn't give it 1 star. But going in, most of the time, I keep forgetting sometimes that graphic novels can be geared toward YA or adult. So I really thought going in it would be more like a middle grade, especially the art style, like the cover. So going in, I thought it was more middle grade. I definitely do not recommend giving this to a child. It's definitely geared more toward YA and adult, as it did have an almost explicit scene, not quite, but almost, and so it kind of geared toward that, and it did have a few swear words in it. So for that reason, I am giving it a 2 star, and so yeah, I tried it. It did have high ratings, but going in it, I really did think it was more geared toward middle grade, but it wasn't. So definitely, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. Okay, and then the last 2 star was Oath by Frank E. Peretti. And I think I only gave this 2 stars because I ended up listening to the audiobook, which was a condensed version. It was the abridged version of the book. And it was narrated by Frank Peretti. And I feel like if I read the entire book in its entirety, I feel like I would have enjoyed it more so rather than listening to the audiobook and have it being such a short, condensed book. It was only like a 3 or 5 hour audiobook, and it's like a 500-page book, so that's probably why. This is about there's like this strange dragon creature that takes people from this village who may have done something wrong or supposedly sinned against the town. And so this dragon takes people, and so this man who is, I believe he's some kind of scientist, he comes in trying to figure out what killed these people. And so he finds out what's going on, and finding out the the love and redemption of God is the only, the only safe way to get past this huge dragon. And it was an interesting concept, and I will probably try to pick up another Frank Peretti book, maybe Monster, as I did want to read that growing up. I just never got to it. So I will possibly try another book by the author. Then my 3 stars now. I read I believe it's the 1.5 novella, I think, in the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. It's called The Queen's Army, and it's actually it's not an actual physical book or an ebook. I believe it is only available through like some kind of writing website. I forgot what it is, but I will try to link it down below in the description box for you so you can read it. If you have read the Lunar Chronicles and you want to see, this is about Wolf, his story, and it's just about how he and his brother were kind of taken into the Queen's Army from Lunar, and it's all about his story. And I wish there was more. That's why I only gave it 3 stars. It was good, but it was a little, I felt like it didn't go deep enough into the background story, and I felt like I wish there was more. And seeing how he interacted with his family before he was taken into the army, and I just wanted more. So that's why I only gave it 3 stars. The series itself is going great. That's 5 stars. Okay, the next book that I read was the novella that's in between book 1 and 2. The first book is Wolf by Wolf, and the second book is Blood for Blood by Ryan Groudon. And this one is called Iron to Iron, and it is the kind of prequel. Is it 0.5? It might be 0.5. Like, it happened like before. Yeah, it happened before both stories. That's right. But this is about Lucas. I believe that's his name. It's hard to remember names sometimes, but I try. But it's about Lucas and about his run in the motorcycle race. And it's all about if the Germans, like, kind of, not necessarily won World War II, but it was during, like, their kind of taking of power, and it was a motorcycle race that happened through Germany and through the countries surrounding it. And it was a pretty cutthroat race. People could possibly try to injure you just to win this motorcycle race to get the, I forgot what kind of cross it is, but I guess it's a medal that you win if you become first. So Lucas is trying to earn his second one, and then he runs into this girl who's, it's actually, her name is Wolf too, so that's funny, last name. But it's a girl who gets into the race disguised as her brother, and so it's kind of their meeting for the first time in that first race before even the first 2 books happen. So it was really good. I gave it 3 stars. As I said, it wasn't as good as the duology, but I recommend reading it if you want to get to learn a little bit more about what happened before the books take place. And then the last 3-star was The Willoughbys by Lois Lowry. I did enjoy it. I think audiobook-wise, I think I listened to it too fast, and that's why I kind of rated it a little low, because I did kind of lose track a few times as I was doing other stuff. But it was really cute. It's about this family who the parents really don't like the kids, and the kids really don't like the parents. So, like, they try to kind of get rid of each other. It's funny. It's cute. And I really like the nanny in it. She ends up really taking care of the kids and giving them a home that they really need, instead of these parents who don't really seem like they care about these kids. So I did enjoy it, and I will be reading the sequel hopefully this month if I have time. If not, I will plan on reading it soon. Okay, and then, I do have a couple more 3 stars. I read the first book. I'm not sure what the series is called, but the first one is called The House of Dark Shadows, and I think it's by Robert. Yeah, I hate printing out covers because you can't read the author, but I will put the cover up here. I should definitely have printed or wrote down these as well. But I did finish reading this one. It is the first book in a series, a YA Christian fiction series. And I think I probably would have rated it higher if I didn't listen to the audiobook. I feel if I listen to the audiobook, I might go too fast and miss some stuff. But it's about a family who move into this kind of creepy old rundown house, and all of a sudden these like mysterious things happen. There's like this kind of closet, like it's almost like Narnia, but there's like this closet that's kind of like an elevator, and it just happens to have different costumes and different tools, and it takes you to different places in different times. It's really interesting, and the ending kind of had like a cliffhanger, so I do want to continue it. It is really interesting, and I do recommend it if you have kind of young adult children in your home, or if you like it's kind of that age, like kind of a preteen age. I think would really enjoy this, and I really did too. I'm gonna continue on. Okay, the next book that I have is The Number of Love by Rosanna M. White. This is the first book in the Codebreakers series. I read this with Oceana. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. It was 4 stars, but I bumped it down a little bit because the beginning was quite slow for me. But overall, I did enjoy it. The character herself, what's her name? Oh, sure, you're not going to tell me her name in the beginning? Oh, they're so mean. Oh, Margot. There it is. Okay. So Margot, I honestly felt like she might have had some kind of autism or something back then, but they didn't test for that back then. But she's great with numbers, but she has a hard time with her emotions and really expressing that she has friends, or she really needs friends. She doesn't have any in the beginning, but she ends up finding a really nice man and his sister, and she is a code breaker, the only female code breaker in the company there. And so it's all about code breaking, and he is like a spy with the company, and it's really interesting, and I do plan on continuing the series. Oceana's not, but that's okay. If I give a book 3 stars or more, I will try another book in the series and see if I'm going to enjoy it. So I hope to see a little bit more action in the second book, I hope, as this one was a little bit slow in the beginning, but I do hope to continue on. All right, and then for my 3.5 stars, I have 2. The first one I just finished, Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. This is my first time reading this, and it was almost 4 star, almost. If it didn't have a few slow parts in it, it definitely would have been 4 star for me. And it definitely has some important subject matter in here. Just a reader warning, it does have, it doesn't go into detail, it doesn't describe anything, but it is suggested that some children are molested in this book. So just a heads up for you, if you're uncomfortable with that. There is no physical descriptions or anything in here, but it is good. It's about these children who are kind of, they have a family, but they find themselves in an orphanage, and they end up kind of losing each other, losing their siblings, and trying to find each other later on. And it is pretty sad and heartbreaking. I did not cry in this book though. So, but came close a few times. The narrator was really good. I listened to the audiobook. But I think this is an important story. It is based kind of on true events, and about this real lady who kind of took children and kind of was pretty much selling them to rich people, and trying to say these children had a bad home, let's go ahead and give them a really good home. But yeah, so really heartbreaking, but I did enjoy it. I'm glad I finally got a chance to read it, because it's been on my shelves for like a decade. And I can put this back on my shelf too, right there, because that's where it was. Okay, let's see. And then the last 3.5 I'm giving is Kristen Hanna's The Nightingale. I finally read it this month, and this was actually my my blind date with a book pick. This is my copy, but I gave it 3.5 stars. It was good, but I feel like I've read better World War II historical fiction. So I'm sorry for everyone who loved this book. It was good, but some parts were just too slow for me. And yeah, there is 2 small, not explicit love scenes, but there is like 2 very brief explicit scenes in here. Just a heads up. But the storyline was good, but I'm going to talk about a book later on in this video that I loved 10 times more than this. So if you like this one, I highly think you're going to like the other one even more. So again, I almost cried in this book, but not quite. I feel like if a book is really emotional and gets me to cry, then it deserves a really high rating. But so yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's about two sisters who are during World War II, and one sister kind of just wants to ignore the war, but she finds out she can't, and then the other one is in the resistance, helping pilots and stuff kind of go over the border to a free country. So it was good, but only 3.5 stars for me. All right, I'm not gonna talk about too much because I did a giant review of it in my blind date with the book vlog, so go check that out if you want to. Alrighty, now we're on to 4 stars. Yay. Okay, 4 stars. We're getting better. First one was Peter Pan by, this is the J.M. Barrie's original tale, but this is by Robert Zabuda. He does the amazing, incredible, like, pop-ups. Look at that. That's insane. This is 4 stars. Pretty much 5 stars for the artwork and kind of 3 stars for the story. I didn't enjoy it as much as the movie. I don't think this is the full book though, as I don't think you could fit the whole book in here because it's mostly pop-up. But yeah, so I ended up giving 4 stars just because I enjoyed the artwork more than the actual story. But I will keeping it because it's beautiful. And hope to get more of his books. I only have that one. All right. The next book that I read was, I think this is going to be a duology. I'm not sure if it's going to be a trilogy or not. But this first one was called Songbird by Ingrid Laguna. And I ended up picking it up because I have the second book ARC copy from NetGalley. So I picked up the first book in hopes that I would enjoy it enough to read the second one, and I did. It's really good. So it's about this girl. I believe her family is originally from, I think, Pakistan, if I'm right. I'm not quite sure. But I know it's part of Saudi Arabia and that area. But her and her mom and brother end up escaping from there and moving to Australia. And her dad is stuck kind of in their own country because he's a reporter and he kind of wasn't able to leave, and they're not sure if he's going to be able to join them or not. But she really enjoys singing, and so she tries to kind of make new friends in this new country, and she speaks pretty good English, and her mother does not. So she's basically being called home like every day or every other day because her mom needs help either with shopping or her brother, and so all she wants is to sing and stay in school and have a normal childhood life. So she joins the choir, and it's very cute, very emotional, and yeah, I gave it 4 stars. It was cute. It is a middle grade. I'd say higher middle grade, but it was really enjoyable. And the next 4-star that I have is the second book in the Gaither Sisters trilogy. This is PSB 11. I finally get the title. You kind of have to read it to figure out what PSB 11 is. But it's by Rita Williams Garcia, and I don't know if I can really tell a lot about it because it is the second book, but it's just about 3 sisters who kind of are living through like the 1960s and just through kind of the Martin Luther King era, and this second book talks a lot about the Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson, so I didn't really get too many of the references as I really wasn't a fan of theirs growing up. My dad kind of was a little bit. Not too much though. But, so yeah, there's a lot of references of that, and it just talks about like day-to-day life, their grandmother and their father, and it's really interesting. It's nice to see a different part of history that I don't think we get too much of, so it was good. This is a middle grade book, and yeah, I do recommend reading it. I think these are really good, and I'm excited to read the second book, or the third book. You might realize like a little bit like some of the kids are kind of a little bit annoying, but honestly, like, I can picture real kids acting like this, and so that's kind of why I enjoyed it. So I'm like, I can totally picture like a 4 or 6-year-old like acting like this, and I found her writing to be really, really kid relatable. Like, she really gets what kids kind of act like and think, and how like the older sister is kind of trying to jumpstart her adult life and try to be an adult to her two sisters, and I don't think she's quite figured out yet to just be a kid. So it's good. Okay. And then the next book, do I have it? No, I returned it to the library. But the next 4-star was Plot Twist by Bethany Turner. I originally gave this 3 stars, but I keep going back to it and I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, I really enjoyed the actual story. The main character I felt was a little fickle in her feelings toward a few of the men in the book. So I think that's why I originally gave it 3 stars, but the actual story was so good that I ended up bumping it to 4 stars later on. It was really good. So it is about a girl who, she ends up in a coffee shop one day and she gets hit on by this guy. And this other guy ends up trying to save her and say, hey, you know, she's my girlfriend, what are you doing? So he ends up saving her, and she is trying to write a screenplay, and he is an actor. So they say, let's meet 10 years from now. You write your screenplay and I'll star in it. So they agreed to meet 10 years from then. And she's like, oh, I'm never going to ever see him again. Why did I agree to something like that? So kind of goes year to year. And I think it was on Valentine's Day. I believe that happened. Yeah. So it's, oh, what day is it? I can't remember what day, but I know it's in February. It might not be Valentine's Day. But she ends up every year, something happens where like something like drastically changes or something different or something kind of disastrously happens every single day that was like the anniversary of when they were supposed to meet, and it leads up to the year 10, and it really did have a plot twist. I was not expecting the ending like at all, so I did really enjoy it. It's a cute romance if you can get past her fickle feelings a little bit in the beginning there. But it was cute, and I still keep thinking about it. I really did love the relationship between her and her friend. Her friend is more kind of like the rich socialite. Everyone seems to like her, and the main character is kind of more shy, reserved. So I feel like they're a really good mix of people. Like, they kind of balance each other, and you know, one needs bringing down to earth a little bit and the other one kind of needs help building her confidence. So the friendship in that book was like one of my favorite parts in it. Okay, next book that I gave 4 stars, I just finished as well, and my mom's reading it, so there's a receipt in there. But this one is Dear Mr. Knightley by Catherine Ray, and I'm going to talk about another of her books in just a few minutes. I buddy read this with one of my friends, Colleen. We read this one and we read the other one as well. So this one I gave 4 stars, and it was really, really cute. I found the beginning, again, to be a little bit slow, but I picked up the pace and it ended up being a really good book. So this is about Sam, who she ends up aging out of the foster care program, and she gets a scholarship into the college that's in the area, but there is one like stipulant, or one thing she has to do in order to go to college is to write letters about her life and what's going on to the benefactor of the grant. So she agrees, and so it's literally written in all letters. Let me find. So yeah. So it has the dates up at the top. There's no chapters or anything, but it's all written in letters. All letters. I think other than the last chapter, it's all letters. But it was really good, and it's really emotional because she finally tells about what happened in the foster program and what went on with her life, and there is a few romantic aspects. The first guy, not so great. But hopefully the second guy was better. Not saying anything, but But it was a really cute, and his name, he's going by the pen name Mr. Knightley from one of Jane Austen's books. That's why it's called Dear Mr. Knightley. But I found it really good. She ends up making some really great friends that I feel like she really needed, as she felt really inadequate and unworthy of love and friendship. And there was some good plot twists in here too, closer to the end. Happy plot twists that I was not expecting. Some I did, some I didn't. But again, really cute romance. This is a Christian fiction book, so it's nice and clean, and it's really good. All right, and then let's see. On to 5 stars. That's it. I'm sorry this video was so long. I just had a lot of books to talk about, and it's just great to talk about them all. I feel like next month I'm going to be reading a lot of books as well. So next month I think I might do a mid-month wrap-up if I do a lot of books. So I apologize for this video being so long. So on to my last 3. I have this one. It's just on my bookshelf. I listened to the audiobook for Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. This is the second book in the Hunger Games. This is my first time through this series. I have watched the movies, and just like the movies, I like the second book better than the first book. Same thing with the movies. I like the second movie. But this is kind of Hunger Games. I don't know what I can say, but they kind of get involved where it's a lottery and somebody's name gets picked from each district, and they get placed into the Hunger Games where pretty much the last person alive is the only one to leave. So this is kind of the second round, and we see what happens. It's good. I'm enjoying them far more than I thought I would. So this was 5 stars for me. Also a really shiny cover. Ooh. Sorry. Get distracted easily, I guess. Right, last 2. The next one is Catherine Ray's book. The second one that I read, or this is the first one actually, but I rated this one higher. This is A Portrait of Emily Price by Catherine Ray, and the cover, it's so pretty. It reminds me of a really pretty painting. But this is about, I'm like looking to see what the name is, and the name's literally right there. But Emily, so she is kind of it's not a reconstructionist. What is she? But she kind of takes art and restores them. Restoration. That's what she does. So she takes paintings and people's houses and different things to restore. And she has a job in a different city where she ends up meeting an Italian man at a restaurant where he's visiting from Italy to kind of help his aunt and uncle trying to get back on their feet, as well as trying to find the perfect pizza recipe. Well, they end up falling in love quite quickly and end up traveling to Italy, where she's quickly swept off into Italiandom and their Italian family. And the father in this book is just the sweetest guy, and the mother reminded me a lot of my grandmother. I think it's the Italian. It's the Italian. There seems to be a connection between every single Italian woman out there. But it was cute. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Italy scenes, and yeah, it was good. The only part I really didn't like was I felt like she was kind of not necessarily mean to her sister, but she's kind of demeaning to her sister, because her sister really wants a career in a certain field, and her sister's like, you can do better than that. But it's like that job could make a lot of money, trust me. So that's the only part that I really didn't like. She does really love her sister, but that's the only part that probably would have been like a 4.5 star, but I did give it 5 stars because I did like it. And I'm rambling right now, aren't I? I am actually rambling right now because I'm tired, and this is a long video. All right, last but certainly not least, a new favorite. Like, not like a favorite of the month, no, a new favorite of all time. It doesn't beat The Princess Bride, but it is on my top books of all time, and that is Until Leaves Fall in Paris by Sarah Sundin. And I just ordered a copy. I had to. I wrote the author on Instagram, and I was like, my first sentence to her was, "What did you do to me?" Because So many emotions in this book. It was so good. Oh, she's one of my favorite authors. And this new book of hers, it just came out last month. Oh, it was so good. It's a World War II historical fiction about Lucy. She is a ballerina, and she ends up quitting her job to take this Jewish couple's bookstore and keep it for them so they can leave and go to America. It's kind of like the early stages of World War II. And so they leave, and she ends up taking care of it, and she ends up involved in the resistance, and she ends up meeting a man who has his own automobile company, and everyone is treating him really bad because they think he is working for the Germans. He's building them trucks. Like, he can't be a good guy. He just can't be. But other things are going on, and it's just so good. And I cried. In this book. I think at least 2 or 3 times. So good. There is a romance aspect, but I feel like it's part of the story. It's really good, really clean. It is Christian fiction, as well as that other book, those other 2 books by Catherine Ray. But another favorite of all time. Just every single character was so well written. The storyline was so good. Like, I loved everything about it. She really did a good job of doing a lot in the story, but it felt like every single step was a good step to take in the story, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so I don't have a physical copy to show you. I wish I did. If I waited until later this afternoon, I would have had a copy to show you. Because I think it's coming in the mail today, but that's okay. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe down below. I'm sorry I was a little bit of a scatterbrain today because I was excited to talk about all these books and there was just too many. So I think I will do mid-month wrap-ups just to make it easier on myself and on you, so you don't watch a 40-minute video every single month. Although it's only once a month. Once a month. You love me, right? Okay, so I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.